Alright, here's the tutorial on the interface of the Xbox modded. I have a crystal that I modded with some lights. I'm going to go turn it on. Forgive me, I don't have a mic, so I'll come back to the area by the camera as I'm speaking, but I'm going to walk over there and turn on the unit. I want to show the startup screen, but that's a crystal unit that I put some blue lights in. That you can see the front panel will light up blue, custom with the USB ports. I'm going to back it out though. Standard Xbox crystal version. It's more like a Canadian version, if you want to put it that way. Maybe European version. So I'll back out and focus in a little more on my TV set so you can see the user interface. So this is a hard modded unit, meaning that I rewrote the BIOS by soldering some points together and doing some other stuff. I also added the blue lighting effect to the front to make it more of a modern. There's the Robot Corn brand, and here's the startup screen, the interface. It looks pretty familiar. It's a more modern version of the XBMC dash. This particular one is called XBMC Origins, and a colleague, if you will, of mine actually spent the time putting the detail in this. His name's Joshua Limberry, so all credit where credit is due, right? He actually helped me build this. I put a few tweaks on it just to make it my own, but the XBMC Origins is something that's readily available on the internet. But you put your own flavor on it, make it yours, right? I'm going to zoom into the unit. I'm pretty proud of the lighting job that I did. It gives it like that nice glowing effect. You can see kind of behind the unit there. Not really, but there's a fan. Put an 80mm fan in there. So like a whisper fan. So it keeps the unit really cool. There's a temperature readout on the top. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the stats there. Redone the pace, so that's normal for the CPU and the GPU. So as far as user interface goes, that's what today's instructional video is about. So enough of the Xbox itself, right? We'll focus in on the user interface. I should really get a screen capture. I think for now this will work. So this is quote unquote the fully loaded Xbox. And what it is basically is a 2 terabyte upgrade of the hard drive, and then of course the BIOS is rewritten to give it access to plain customized software, which in this case we loaded it with backups. So if you look at my games here, it's most of the Xbox library, the original Xbox library. There are some redundant sports games that we took out for the sake of, and when I say we, like a consortium of modders, a consortium of modders kind of got together and we all add a little bit here and there to the modding scene, right? But that being said, what we've done is taken some of the redundant sports titles, like say you have 5 NHL games, iterations year after year. We took some out to save space because 2 terabytes gets filled up pretty quickly. But you can see every game other than the redundant sports titles. It's here in its full version, fully savable, so you can enjoy all of that. And you just look through. It's alphabetized, so one of my favorite is like Ninja Gaiden or Halo. Ninja Gaiden, I don't know how to say that, but when you look through it, it's pretty much just alphabetized, so I'm looking for an I, and then you just pretty much, it's pretty straightforward. You just find it and start it in. Looks like I'm a little confused here. There it is. So one of my favorite games, both versions, the black and the regular. You can start it up just like normal. For today though, I'm going to back out. I'm going to back out again. You can see all the games there. Then you got all the homebrew stuff, which is basically just homemade games, additions to games to make them better with multiplayer versions, stuff like that. Full games list. This Sega stuff, Xbox Live no longer around. Then coin ops. And you can also add to this and take some of the music off. There's ways to do that. I can make another video on that. But as far as the interface here, we started at My Games. We go down coin ops. That's basically it's a front-end arcade system where it actually houses all the emulators, all the best of the best emulators. So when you click into coin ops, it actually gives you the options of playing the games straight from this particular emulator. And there's different emulators, which is the software that runs the old games, the ROMs. The coin ops emulation front-end arcade, if you will, actually houses all of those different systems and runs it from a interface that it's pretty slick. I don't know what other word. This one looks like the Nintendo Classic, right? So you have all the games kind of waiting for you right there. You're back right out of this though. So you push both triggers and the two outer buttons, the black and the black, the one that's above the clear, to get out of there. And it's gonna, it actually starts up back to the home screen. So it's gonna go all the way back. That's some weird effect on my camera. When it goes black, it doesn't know what to focus in on, right? There's my brand. There's the Xbox logo startup. So I basically just jumped out of coin ops and put it back to the main screen. So that's how you jump out, of course, and then you can go to if you don't want to go to coin ops, which is the front-end arcade system for the emulators, in which the emulators play the ROMs. You can actually play the individual emulation software in these, and you have like Nintendo. These are the top picks right here. It's the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx. This is customizable as well. This is your favorites bar, if you will, but these are the ones we preset. You can also go to emulators though. Or you can go straight to programs and look at everything, but if you go into emulators, which is the Pac-Man icon, this will actually show you all the available emulators, which is the software that powers these classic system ROMs. So you can look through all the different systems that are able to be emulated on the Xbox, and it's a pretty robust library. Nintendo 64 works okay. There's ways to make it run better. There's a small selection of games on there, Mario Kart, some Zeldas, stuff like that, but they're not 100% good to go yet. You know what, let me shut this light off. Maybe they'll draw more focus on the TV, right? It looks like the camera's having trouble with the optics, but anyway. You see all the game systems here in the individual emulators, which is basically the arcade, if you will, that runs the ROMs, the software of these games, and all the games for these particular systems are on there. The control schemes are a little bit different since you're using the Type S controller, but that's pretty much it. That's the build. The customization of these things I'm really a fan of. Yeah, the crystal with the lights in it is probably my favorite one. It's subtle lighting. With the fan upgrade, it's really quiet. You can't even hear it right now. It also has the component cord, which gives it 720 resolution for modern TVs, which kind of stretches it out almost to full screen. I mean, you can actually make it full screen, but it looks good the way it is. And other than that, having this fully packed with all this emulation software, it kind of makes it a one-stop shopping for all of this. So the purpose of this video is just kind of an overview, if you will. But here we have the SNES box, which is recognized as probably the best emulation software. That's really loud. Yeah, that's pretty much every game. So if you remember something fondly from this era, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, it actually did like a save state right there. Should be all in here. Actually, just turn the TV down so we can look at the interface a little bit more. But that's the overview of the system. That's my personal touch on the system. That's my brand. Go to my YouTube channel, or you're on my YouTube channel now. This video is, for the most part, going to remain private just to give a general instructional overview of this. Now, there's other system settings that you can mess with, and you shouldn't be afraid to mess with anything to customize this layout however you see fit. If you mess it up, we can always rewrite the software. That's the fun part of this, is that we can actually fix stuff if it goes wrong. So you can set your custom wallpaper, you can change the colors. There's lots of different options in here. You can hide the system info. Just kind of make it your own. Once you get this unit with the colors, gets the more modern feel to it. And always, just any questions, just feel free to write me or comment on this video, and I'll be glad to help build one of these or build one for you, or if you have one and you're watching this video because you just want a little bit of instruction on the interface, there it is. Emulators are separate. Emulators are basically arcade machines, digital arcade machines that run ROM software, which is basically the game itself was pulled from a disc or a cartridge, and that software, that data that's on there, was then processed into this unit, and there's emulation front-end software that runs it like an arcade machine. So this is the 2 terabyte crystal unit, and I mean that's pretty much it. If any questions, just let me know. I'm Robot Corn. Thanks for letting me have some of your time to show you my work on this unit. So last thing here is the 64. I mean, it runs okay, but I would say that it could be better. It doesn't run as smoothly as it possibly could, but it does emulate pretty well, and the experience is decent enough. But there's better ways to emulate a Nintendo 64. I'll get into that later, but today it's just all about the crystal unit, right? Oh, that's having so much trouble focusing in. That's pretty cool. The graphics actually don't look bad. If you're a purist and you want to play on the original console, just so to say you did, I mean, I'm sure there's valid reason behind that, but for me, I'm all about just playing the experience. Yeah, these controls are pretty... You can tell it's from a generation ago, they're not that tight. There's probably a way to adjust that. Takes some getting used to, I guess. Nice. I can see why this game is one of the classics. Yeah, it's pretty responsive. So Nintendo 64 running pretty good. Doesn't seem to have any glitches. Probably need to adjust the calibration on the controller a little bit because it's very loose. You rarely nudge it and it moves really far. but man, we'd be rocking GoldenEye on my flat screen TV. That guy's in cover, it's gonna be hard to get. Huh, there we go. Oh, I died. So I guess as far as getting this set up, it's pretty straightforward from there. If you ever get stuck on something and you can't get out of the game, just press eject and it'll get you out of the game. So I'm actually going to walk over there right now because the hot buttons don't work, so I'm going to press eject and get out of this game. But that's it. I won't take any more of your time. I just wanted to make this video as an instructional. What we're looking at in my favorite unit now, which is that crystal with the front lights on it. It's gotta be my favorite build so far. You can see it's not too overwhelming, but it looks, yeah, I really like that one. That's gonna probably stay right there. It's gonna be my go-to emulation machine. I'll stop being long-winded though. That's it. That's the interface. That's the XBMC Origins is what it's called. Simple software tweaks. Added all the emulators. Again, I'm Robot Corn. These units are pretty fun to build. Thanks for watching. And let me know if you have any questions.